illegal ham in the face. But bro, where's the banjo?
Some Cleveland sports shows try to give you hot takes, but only one can give you a big old piece of hot ham. Welcome to Illegal Ham to the Face. Talking all Cleveland sports. And don't forget our Fat Boy Tuesday, where we also ham it up with some fun food topics. Without further ado, let's serve up some ham. Here are the Ham Boys, Fatty, and Big Bry.
But Dad, isn't it time for illegal ham in the face? But bro.
Fatty fail on that one. Welcome to post-Labor Day, illegal ham to the face. What's going on, big fella?
Hey, man. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. Living the dream.
Enjoying this fall-like weather outside here in Cleveland. I'm loving every minute of it. Had college football all weekend, Bri. All weekend college football. And now,
back,
Bri, as it says here in our statement right at the top, Brown season begins. Here we go. Thursday night football with the Cowboys and Eagles. And then we are set Sunday at 1 p.m. against the Cincinnati Bengals here at the, the Huntington Bank Field now? What is that thing?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. So, can't wait. We got a great show for you tonight. Brian and I are obviously going to break down the Browns game. We got some other NFL stuff that we're going to get into, like, let's see here, Browns win total. The best one is when will Flacco be replaced? I can't wait to get into that one. And we got some other stuff. We got Fat Boy Tuesday, which is ice cream novelties tonight. And then our top 3 pump-up songs. Fatty failed harder than Hugh Hefner when there was a new centerfold this week with fantasy. Here we go.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. All right, so let's get into our show. We normally do shout-outs. We're going to do a quick shout-out to everybody for the Illegal Ham to the Face Fantasy Football League. Went out without just a bang. Everybody was there. Everybody drafted. A lot of people were talking smack, like a certain running bald man that's in our comments right now. A lot of reaches on a lot of people. I know I went back-to-back tight ends right out of the gate.
And then you disappeared. I was worried about you.
No, dude, I had such a smorgasbord day that day that I don't even want to get into it. I made a few other picks, but at that point in time, I was like, you know something? I got tight ends. I'll piecemeal this together. I had to take a walk. Let's just put it that way. You ever have one of those days where you have to take a walk?
Yeah, I usually have my phone with me so I can make picks in the fantasy draft.
I wanted nothing to do with my phone at the time. I wanted
no. That bad, huh? Jeez.
But it was
That's
bad.
Not good. Okay. All right. Well, better today?
Better today. Everything's better today. This weekend kind of helped out too. So that was also nice. It was just, dude, we put down, hey, devices were down. We were out playing in the dirt, doing flower bed stuff, that kind of stuff. So it was just kind of just a chill weekend. What'd you get into this weekend?
Oh, it was a great weekend. I was over. My brother and his family were in town. Unexpectedly, made the trip down for Labor Day weekend, so I got to hang out with him a lot and putting a lot of furniture together, putting a lot of beds together, and then played a little golf on Sunday. I played down at Ashland Golf Club, which I drive past. My wife being from Ashland, I drive past this golf course all the time, and I'm always wanting to play there, so I finally got out on that. So Sunday was a great day. Then we went up to my uncle's for a pool party and cookout. My favorite types of foods at a barbecue cookout. Burgers, dogs, and then just a smorgasbord of every side dish that you could ever want, and then tons of desserts. So I was living my best life. Me and baby girl got in the pool, and we were hanging out, and so got to throw the football around in the pool. So it was all around fantastic, close to perfect weekend.
That's awesome, buddy. That is awesome. Our show is brought to you by Hero Keel Laker APA, also City Dogs Cleveland. Well, Brian, you ready to just dive right into our show and get this thing popping?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, here we go. We got trivia, which is my turn for trivia. And Bri, we are not doing sports trivia tonight. No sports whatsoever.
Okay.
You ready?
What do we got?
Here we go. Our trivia is brought to you by City Dogs Cleveland. You can go adopt a beautiful city dog like this beautiful face right here. Please go adopt a city dog from City Dogs Cleveland. If you cannot adopt, please donate, volunteer, do whatever you can to help out a city dog from City Dogs Cleveland. All right, Brian, I told you it was not a sports. It's going to be something historical for this city, and it happened 30 years ago to the date.
Today.
30 years ago
95.
today, something
90.
opened up here in Cleveland, and they are celebrating their 30th anniversary. Can you tell me what that something is?
September 2nd, 95. A lot of good, a lot of bad happened in 95. So I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to chew on it a little bit.
All right, think about it. It
Something
should be an easy one to grab, but if it's not, I understand. I threw you a curveball. We normally do sports, but I wanted to have a little fun with you tonight.
This has nothing to do with sports?
Nope.
So it's not Progressive Field. That was my first inclination.
Has nothing to do with sports. Nothing.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, let's bump the Cleveland headlines and let's start diving in. First off with your Cleveland headlines, Brian, you have in here if I want to talk about anything Guardians, and I do not because it is depressing on the Guardians front. They have lost 13 out of 20. They gave us a glimmer of hope, and then they just airmailed it in. Yeah, not good. Not good. I don't even want to talk about the Guardians anymore, but we will talk some college football, though.
Sure.
The Ohio State University came out on top against Texas 14-7 in a 1-2 at noon. Bri, at noon.
1 versus 3, but go on.
At noon. At noon.
I'm aware.
The most stupidest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. You know how awesome that stadium would have been at night, a night game of that magnitude? Shut up. No, let's do it at noon. Let's do it at noon. And hey, let's have Dave Portnoy on there just agging them on too, throwing gold pants at people. Why don't we do that?
He was out of control. I mean, even as a Michigan fan, I'm watching him. I'm like, geez, man, ease up a little bit on these
Did you see what he did to Will Howard?
No. Handed him gold pants?
He had gold pants. Will Howard was doing a photo shoot, walked up, he goes, here, since you did get in here, I'm going to give you some.
That's pretty funny.
I
like
oh
that. But yeah, he was like a WWE wrestler up there.
Oh,
he
God,
got in front of the crowd, and he's just telling them, "You people suck. You're morons." And like he's going in. Like I'm not exaggerating at all. And
I know you're not. The best part was, did you see the one kid that said, "At least I don't have hair plugs"?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw there were a couple good signs.
At least I have real hair.
Yeah. It pays to have a lot of money. You can buy hair, as we're finding out. You can get skinny. You can do whatever you want.
My sister's here. What's going on, Jocelyn? Yeah, Bama lost. That was, dude. We had some really good games this weekend. I mean, Clemson LSU was a great game. Also, you had Miami spanking Notre Dame. God, that just made me happy. And then you had Bama losing, and then last night, welcome to college football, Bill Belichick. Holy shit, 48-14. When they did their first drive, Brian, I was like, this is going to be a game. And then nothing after that. All I seen was his son sitting there chewing on the end of a pen cap, like the crayon eating dumb he is.
Now that was, I will agree with you. That was a spanking. That was, yes. I was very upset that I didn't place a bet on that. I was going to, and then
I did. I placed it the other way.
Life got in the way. Yeah. Oh, for Belichick?
Oh yeah, I placed it the other way like an idiot. I hit
I
one
just
of
figured.
them. I bet the over.
I just figured.
I got the over.
Oh, okay. Well, that helps. I figured the hype on him was just so high that his team. No, same kind of similar thing with Dion going to Colorado. But the thing is, he didn't have Shador and he didn't have the Heisman Trophy winner on his team. So it's going to take some time to turn that around. But I don't know. I disagree with you that it was a good college football week. I think it was great matchups, but the play wasn't really. It was almost like preseason. Was the Ohio State Texas game really that great? It was
No, but
14-7.
I know it was 14-7. But you thought that Arch Manning would come out and actually.
Oh, he looked like Deshaun Watson. Like he looked rattled.
It was
like
bad.
He looked like he's never played. Now, give credit to Ohio State. Give credit to Patricia because he threw an NFL defense at him and just stymied him. But in all reality, as bad as it looked on Texas end, and Ohio State just kind of, they never really looked threatened because Arch Manning could never really get into a rhythm, and he just looked incompetent, to be honest. But after saying all that, the difference in the game was Ohio State scored on their 4th down and goal from the 1-yard line, and Texas did not score on their 4th down and goal from the 1-yard line. That was the difference in the game. Now both teams will get significantly better by the end of the year, but yeah, it reminded me of preseason, and we should have known that. Everyone was taking the under points, so the under dropped like maybe 4 points or something like that. So kind of scared me off that, but yeah, these kids, Julian's saying Arch Manning, they have a lot of hype, but they've never played in atmospheres like that. So they didn't have their A game, to say the least. But Ohio State, like I said, they weren't really challenged because Texas scored in the 4th quarter and maybe kind of made the scoreboard look a little more respectable, and they had it at the end to try to go down and tie it up. But at no point did I think, okay, Arch Manning's going to start looking like the number 1 prospect in his class. And he just, even from the very first play, you look at that, they schemed it up perfectly to where a guy was wide open and Manning threw it like 5 feet in front of him. And so, yeah, you knew right then that maybe he was feeling the pressure a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for him because with all the hype, I mean, what's a kid supposed to do? I mean, it's like the super hype. And like he even came out, he said like one of his safeties and him were talking. He goes, either I can go out and throw a touchdown and I'm going to hear this noise for the rest of my life, or if I throw an interception, then they're going to ask what's wrong with me. So he goes, no matter what I do, I kind of lose on both ends. So, it is what it is. But I mean, but it's your first game. It's truly your first game. You're at Ohio State.
Right.
That's hard
Doesn't
enough as it is.
Right.
And especially from what everybody's told me that went to that game, that place was rocking, Brian. They had that place sweating. They said it was louder than any of the night games they had. So you have that, and then also the national media hype and everything with Lee Corso being there for his final leg game,
right,
and all that stuff. Man, that's a lot to take on as a, was he 20, 21 years old?
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, you imagine taking that on at 20 years old, Brian?
Oh, forget about it. No, and these kids, a lot of them are just constructed differently. But yeah, I don't know. I maybe should have taken the under more. We shouldn't be surprised that Manning struggled like he did. But yeah, I mean, even to say he struggled is kind of putting it nicely. Like I feel like there's 100 college quarterbacks that could have looked better than he did. Because now, again, give Ohio State's defense credit. I wasn't watching the all 22. I didn't see, are these guys just covered and absolutely nobody's open. But he was like afraid to throw the ball downfield. He was just, even when he would complete passes, he's just checking it down. He's looking, read 1, read 2, and then he's just throwing it to his running back. So yeah, it was hard to watch for about 3 quarters. That's kind of what I gave it, 3 quarters, and then I kind of went outside and did some work, and then kind of kept an eye on it. And I saw that Texas scored, and maybe a questionable touchdown there, but yeah, it was a close game at the end. It was 2 good teams that'll probably get better, but I don't know if it was a great game of football.
Well, like I put out a grade system. Everybody kind of gave it a B. like it was football being back. Were they firing on all cylinders
sure.
on offense? No, but both defenses really did show up and played outstanding. Hey, defense, they always say at the beginning of the season, it's always the defense that comes out
Ahead of
hotter
the
than the
offense.
offense, and then the offense starts clicking. But hey, not to sell them short, we're probably going to see them again in the playoffs.
Right.
That it is what it is. This one loss at the beginning of the season, it's not like old school, BCS style where you lose one game and guess what, buddy, you're done. You don't have that luxury. So it was kind of nice seeing Alabama lose, though.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that game. Was that on at the same time?
I think so. Watching Paul Feinbaum just lose more hair than what he has already lost, and just the SEC homer that he is. He's just gonna have to get over it.
I heard something today that they're, if they want to get into the playoffs, they're gonna have to go 9-1 the rest of the way to guarantee it. And man, they got a murderer's row. I don't think they play Texas. I think they might avoid Texas this year. But yeah, not to just pick on Texas and Ohio State. I didn't think the LSU Clemson game was, super fun to watch. It wasn't a great game. I think the final score was kind of similar to what Ohio State Texas was, and you're supposed to have these two top 10 quarterbacks facing off against each other, and Clemson's defensive line is stacked, and yeah, it's just kind of, I don't know. Yeah, I left feeling like we have these great matchups, but it kind of almost looks like preseason. I'm sure all of these teams will be better in a month or so, but right now they're just not there.
I feel like what they should do, Bri, is stop scheduling all these marquee games week one and let, like they used to, play the, Eastern Michigans, the MAC schools, stuff like that, get them prepared. And then like week 3 be their hell or high water matchups. Week 3, week 4, week 5. And then kind of let it sort out its way out. But you got conference play that you have to play. Pretty soon, Brian, it's all just going to be, the Power 5, and that's it. It's probably just going to be the Big Ten and the SEC, and that's kind of it. We'll see what happens with the ACC. But yeah.
As a consumer, that's that's what you hope for. Like have these matchups this week at the end of September would be awesome. But they won't ever do it because it's all about money. This is the one weekend that they own. They don't have to share it with the NFL. So they put all these matchups early on, and you get excited for it. We've been getting excited for this matchup for the last 3-4 months. So we've been looking forward to it for this very long time. It's the first weekend. We got games on, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday that we have to look forward to, big matchups. And so, yeah, I don't expect anything to change because they have no competition with the NFL. So it's just what you have to deal with. But let's just store this in our mind for next year. When we're all getting excited for these games, at least hammer the under.
Hammer the under.
Make a note. I got to make a note here. Yeah, on these big games.
All right, Brian, let's get into Brown season, bud. Brown season is officially starting on Sunday here at home against the Cincinnati Bengals, Brian. So far, we do have some sort of news about Quinshon Judkins. Sounds like he's getting close to a contract. From what I'm hearing, is a 4-year, fully guaranteed contract.
Oh, and really? Fully guaranteed.
And if the NFL does suspend him, they're saying maybe 2 to 4 weeks. So, but hey, these are all rumors. This is all hearsay. We're not there to know, but those were the rumors right now that he is getting a 4-year contract fully guaranteed and maybe missing some time on the back end of that. But the one meme that I saw is, you remember how everybody cashes in the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania? Said Quinshon Judkins signed his contract and trying to get on the practice field by Friday so he can play on Sunday. Oh my God, I love it.
I said my piece about it last week. Let's get on with it.
I was just sharing news.
I'm not saying you get on with it.
Oh,
I'm saying the NFL and the Browns. Let's just
oh
get
yeah.
on with it. Let's get some resolution here. Let's get this guy in camp. Let's get him suspended. If the suspension's coming, what are we waiting for? We're 5 games away from it, or 5 days away from a game. What the heck is taking so long?
Yeah, I know. All right, bud.
Frustrating.
Breakdown of the Browns Bengals. Bry, it's strengths versus weaknesses. Right now, our strength supposedly is our run game. Their weakness is the whole defensive unit. Let's just put it that
Right.
way.
Their
And
defense.
then their strength is their offense, and our weakness right now, I would have to say, is our secondary, Bry. And the only reason why is we're a little dinged up. Denzel Ward's still a little injured. Greg Newsome, we lost Emerson for the year. So we're still trying to figure out the second part of our defense there in the secondary. But, Bry, the one thing I do have to say is our defensive front looks up and ready to the task. And if anything can shake and make Joe Burrow shit his pants, it is Myles Garrett's hands come across his face trying to tackle him every time. And I have a feeling that's what's going to happen this week. If Myles Garrett needs to set the tempo for this season and this game, the whole defensive line needs to, and they need to make Joe Burrow's day very, very, very uncomfortable. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. That's where it starts. Is as we saw in the Super Bowl, and as we see with these elite, quote unquote, quarterbacks, the way that you frustrate them, the way that you have success against them, is getting pressure on them with only 4 guys, and that way you can drop everybody else. So that's going to be the key. We have 2 tremendous players in Garrett and Ward. And so everyone else is probably going to take some time for them to get up to speed, because you really think about it, we don't have a ton of veterans on our defense. We have a ton of talent. We don't have a ton of veterans, but we do have Denzel Ward, we have Delpit, and we have Newsome in the secondary. So I feel like as long as they can stay healthy, that can be a strength. And then, we all assume that because of what he does and what he did in college, Mason Graham's his role on the defense shouldn't change a whole lot. Now I know he said like maybe he'll get a chance to get after the quarterback a little bit more, but if he can just keep the offensive line off our linebackers, which I think he can kind of do, and is one of the strengths of his game, but it doesn't really show up on the stat sheet, then Carson Schlesinger can fly around like a madman. And so I feel pretty good about our two draft picks, our first 2 draft picks on the defense. And then, but there's going to be some growing pains. Certainly this is even though they don't have a great offensive line, they have probably the best skill positions in maybe the entire NFL. And Chase Brown really came out of nowhere last year to have a great season and give them that added weapon in the backfield, and to go on top of their 2 probably the best receiver in the league and probably the best number 2 receiver in the league. So it's going to be interesting to see how we match up against them. I feel like we match up very favorably against their offense though. And so I expect it to be kind of a lower scoring game. I think even though they can put up 30, 40 points on some defenses, I feel like it's going to be a lower scoring game. And that's kind of been the trend that we've seen lately with the Browns and the Bengals. And, certainly Myles Garrett is inside Joe Burrow's head. He's always going to be looking for him with, rightfully so, because Myles Garrett has had tremendous success against the Bengals, and I don't know if their offensive line is a whole lot better than it was last year. It might be worse. I think they're still kind of trying to figure that out. So that's going to be kind of the unit that we need to step up in order to keep us in this game, and I think they will.
Yeah. Other places I think need to step up, Bry, our offensive line and Jerome Ford.
Sure.
We need, with this defensive line of Cincinnati, we've seen they can't stop. We watched all preseason. They can't stop a run game. And if you're wanting to run and get everything kind of well greased and ready to go, this is the time to do it. And Jerome Ford. We don't have Junkins back. We got Samson. We got the Rocket. Hey, you gotta love guys with nicknames, right, Bry?
Yeah, I've heard about him. I don't know much about him, but I guess he's gonna dress, I suppose, for the
Well,
team.
he's going to have to dress because we only have 2 running backs unless they figure something else out. But
Right.
I think Jerome Ford has a huge game this week. He should. If he doesn't, I'll be highly disappointed because at that point in time, we're going to go back on what Kevin Stefanski said. We're going to go back to the BS that we had last year of, hey, we're going to be a running team, yet we're passing the ball 55 times. They need to stick with the run. They need to just hammer the run and go from there, Bri. I really think offensive, that's what they have to do, and then set up the play action afterwards. Let that offensive line get their hats on some people, move them off the ball, and get them comfortable, and then let Flacco do what he does best and throw afterwards and play action, because I think that's the best way for your offense to do anything this game against the Bengals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The narrative around the Bengals has been, they're slow starters because they've really shot themselves in the foot over the last couple years with their poor starts, starting 0-2, I think the last 2 years. So people just assume the Bengals are going to have a slow start against this year. I don't know if I truly believe that. I think they're gonna come out. They're gonna be prepared. They're not gonna be lackadaisical. But I think the Browns are just a good matchup against them. And like I just broke down, the offense for the Bengals versus Cleveland defense, I think we match up very well. I think our offense going against their weaker defense, maybe Hendrickson is not in midseason form because he missed so much time. It sounds like this Shamar Stewart, their rookie, is really impressing in Bengals camp, but he's a rookie. He has never played in the NFL. I have faith in our offensive line, and I just hope I hope that we can control the line of scrimmage with our offensive line, and if we can do that, then we can get back to our running game and maybe not ask Flacco to do too much. But really, for me, I think it's a game that's so closely matched. 2 teams that know each other so well. I think it's going to come down to turnovers and who can take care of the ball. And, it might come down to kicking, which kind of scares me a little bit. So, but yeah, I expect a close game.
And Justin chimes in and said, I could be running back 3 and just roll down the field. Justin, I would take 1 step, probably blow my Achilles, and then just lay down. Not going to lie to you. That's probably what's going to happen. Either that or I'm going to be the kid from Little Giants running around the referee to tell him to blow the whistle. Brian, special teams. Kind of curious about our new kicker, bud.
Right.
What do you think special teams are going to play in this?
Well, they always find a way to play a part in a close game. So I don't expect it to be any different. I'd be fine with a push. As Browns fans, we've watched some pretty bad special teams the last several years. So as long as we don't make that big mistake, and by that I mean turning the ball over, muffing a punt, giving up. Was it last year against them? Did we give up a kick return for a touchdown?
I think so.
Was that like the very? I thought in the Deshaun game where he got hurt, we gave up like the first play of the game was a kick return touchdown. So giving up those big plays, or a kicker missing a chip shot field goal, and by that I mean anything inside of 40 yards, extra point, something like that. So as long as we can avoid those big mistakes on the special teams, sign me up for that right now.
Yeah. We just got to play mistake-free football. Just last year, Brian, we've been the most penalized team. It feels like the past 3 years in a row. Just cut down on the penalties too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, last year was terrible, absolutely awful.
Now, Bri, I'm going to change the wrinkle because we normally give our score predictions and everything else, but make it a little more interesting for us. Do you want me to keep tally of this? or would you want to keep
Of the
tally?
scores? Yeah, I'll keep tally of the scores. That's fine. I got it right here.
Okay, so what I plan on doing, Brian, is we will do the Browns game every week, but then we will also add in the primetime games.
Okay.
So Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, and we'll do those games. That way we have a clear, defined winner, and we can go from there, and then you and I can talk crap to each other afterwards. Sound good?
Sure.
All right, so Browns versus Bengals, Brian. I will go first. God, I want to be hopeful, Brian. I want to be hopeful. It's hard. It's so hard right now to be hopeful. But it is the beginning of the season, Brian, and I'm going to be hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Brownies 24, Bengals 20.
All right. I wouldn't be shocked at that. Probably similarly, I kind of see the game. I'm going to give it to the Bengals. Just not feeling great. Just knowing the experience they have playing together. And like I said, I think it comes down to turnovers. And we have a quarterback who is turnover prone, and we have a defense that does not get any turnovers at all, or any interceptions, anyways. So, I'll give it close. And they also, what scares me is they have a more experienced kicker. Their kicker's pretty good. Ours is a complete question mark. So, I'm going to give it to the Bengals 23, and I'm going to say the Browns are 16.
Okay. Justin said Brownies 31-23. Redleg is in here. What's going on, my friend?
What's up, Redleg?
See.
Yeah,
He
man.
said the Browns 17-14. Now that's kind of a normal.
I can see that.
I can definitely see that. Justin
Sure.
is still clamoring for 11 wins for the Browns this year. God, I don't want that Kool-Aid that you're drinking. I guess it's just, buddy, it's just a pessimist in me. I can't see this team doing anything else. All right, let's get the other NFL games real quick, Bri. Let's not do the Friday night game, right?
Okay. Gotcha.
So we'll do Cowboys Eagles. Bri, would you like to go first?
Sure. I feel good about the Eagles. It's not anything surprising. They wanted to play the Cowboys on this first game. I think they requested it, so they want to embarrass the Cowboys. The Cowboys, kind of in disarray after the Micah Parsons trade. So give me the Eagles 34 and the Cowboys 20.
I'm going to go Eagles also. I'm going to go Eagles 31, and I am going to go Cowboys 21.
31-21. Gotcha.
All right. Up next, we have the Ravens. Sunday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. I will go first on this one, Bri. I got to go against the Ratbirds. Give me Bills 28-21 over the Ravens.
28-21. Okay. Where's the game at?
At Buffalo.
At Buffalo. I think the Ravens have revenge on their mind, so I'm going to go Ravens 27 and Bills 22.
Okay. And last but not least, Monday Night Football, and God, what a game this is going to be, hopefully. Jesus. You got the Minnesota Vikings versus the Chicago Bears. Bri, who you got in this one?
I got to go with my boy, JJ McCarthy. Where's the game at, did you say?
At Chicago.
At Chicago. Okay, so that makes it closer than I'm thinking. Give me Minnesota. Workman's effort. I'll say 30. Minnesota 30, Chicago 17.
Well, Brian, this is where we differ. I'm going to go the Bears 24, Minnesota 21.
All righty. Good
We
deal.
got them written down. Justin has chimed in here. He said Eagles 36-30, Bills 27-24, and Bears 21-14. So we got them all set up.
Do you have a survivor pick? Have you looked at who? It's tough week one, and people that are in survivor pools have got to make a choice. Do you have a team that you're most confident in winning?
Right now, looking at it, Bry, I would have to say probably. Man, it is a tough one, isn't it? Holy shit!
Oh yeah, Buffalo and Baltimore are two of the best
I would
teams.
either have to pick Denver over Tennessee or
Mhm.
the Cardinals over the Saints.
I got two entries in Survivor League. I'm leaning towards Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. We'll
Who's
see.
Pittsburgh playing?
The Jets.
Oh well,
They just always seem. I don't know. I don't even know
yeah,
where the game is, but Pittsburgh always seems to
it's
win
in
their
New
first
York.
game. Start hot. Yeah.
It's in New York. This, by the way, this is starting our NFL season preview, which we're getting into now. We're out of Browns talk. Yeah, that's a tough one, Bry. Man, they're all good games. I mean, you would have to pick probably.
Oh, gimme.
Oh, Dolphins over the Colts. I didn't see that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not a bad one. I would consider that.
Okay.
If it's in, is it in Miami?
No, it's in Indianapolis.
Oh, well, yeah, I might reconsider then. You know, Miami when it's September and it's 95 degrees, they
Or you
stick
got
the
commies.
stick the other team on the sidelines where it's 120 on the field, and they just bake in the sun, which is genius. So if it was in Miami, I might take them. Who do the Commanders play?
Commanders are playing the Giants. Might want to take the commies in that one too.
Yeah, I don't know. Division game. Crazy things happen week one.
I know it's crazy. Well, it's also crazy things happen week one too, as we just seen with college football. All right, Brian, let's get into our season preview here. Browns wins total for the year. Now, you and I have done the now that we have a starting quarterback and everything else, Brian, give me your Browns record for the year.
It's very difficult because you just don't know what quarterbacks are going to start what games. Because if you tell me Joe Flacco is going to start the whole season, I feel pretty confident in him, at least beating some of the lesser teams. But you start thinking about Dylan Gabriel going against teams, Shador Sanders, if we're led to believe that Dylan Gabriel is truly better than Sanders. You have two rookie quarterbacks with no experience playing some of these teams. So, but I don't know. There's something about Kevin Stefanski where he overachieves with bad teams. So that just keeps coming back to my mind. Like when everyone counts us out, that's when he's at his best. And I think back to 2 years ago with Flacco, and then the Baker season in 2020, 2021, when we won our playoff game. Nobody was really expecting anything. But the following year, when we had expectations, we underachieved. Last year, when we had high expectations, we vastly underachieved. So I feel like when expectations are low, that's when Stefanski's at his best. So I'm going to say, I'm still going to keep it relatively modest. I'm going to say 7 wins for the Browns this year.
Brian,
What do you say?
I'm right in your ballpark with that one. At first, I thought it was going to be 3 wins, but I have a feeling that this team's actually going to fight, at least for the first handful of weeks until Flacco gets either benched or whatever the hell it is. You know something, Brian? Let's be optimistic about it. I'll give them 9 wins.
Wow.
I'll
Very
give them
optimistic.
9. But, Brian, that's the ceiling. The floor
That's it.
is 4 games.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's the.
It's it's a difficult schedule to start out. We're not going to be favored in any of our first 6
No.
games, maybe.
No.
And so that's probably when Flacco's going to be in there playing. So if they go 1-5, 0-6, do they get the itchy trigger finger? And when we start playing teams that we actually can beat and might be favored in some games, do they keep Flacco in there, or do they, start reading press clippings and listening to the media? And it's hard to know what their mindset is for the 2025 season. Is it all about winning as many games as possible, or is it about finding out, do we have anything with these rookie quarterbacks? So it's none of us know. I think if they want to win as many games as possible, I think they could possibly compete for a playoff spot, but you have to stomach a lot of bad football and a lot of tough losses in the first month to month and a half. So do they have the stomach to stick with it and continue to put Flacco out there? I don't know. Or do they start saying, hey, let's look at these quarterbacks and let's start looking at 2026? Who knows? Time will tell. But yeah, that's kind of how I see this season unfolding. It's just nobody can really actually know what they're thinking until we go through it.
All right, Brian, you got it on here. When do you think that if they do pull the plug on Flacco, when do you think it'll be?
I think as long as he's healthy, he'll play. I wouldn't be surprised to see him play into November, to be honest. And then I don't know, maybe week 9, week 10, week 11, sometime around there. I don't know if they necessarily get curious about Gabriel, or maybe just the season kind of starting to break Flacco down, and maybe he does have an injury at that point. I don't know, but it's going to be very difficult. Like, when do they pivot? Because if you're pivoting to Dylan Gabriel and you're sitting a healthy Joe Flacco, assuming that he's not garbage and he's not terrible, you're almost waving the white flag on the season. So that's going to be a tough transition to make, tough sell to your veteran players in the locker room. So I don't know. I don't know what their excuse is, when they do make that pivot to Gabriel. But yeah, I'll say Flacco's your starter into November. Maybe, week or 2 into November is when they make the change.
Let's see here. Red Leg said at least minimum they should be 9-8. Schedulers aren't doing us any favors with all the scheduling and division games right there. I get that.
Tough schedule.
Justin said week 6 through 8 if they pull them early. Flacco all season, Red Leg says. Bri, I think if they do, depending on where the schedule is, depending on what's going on with this team and where they're at, Bri, I think they're going to pull the plug on it probably at the bye week, which is either right before the Patriots game, October 19th. So you have 1, 2, 3. You have 4 games that are hard right out of the gate. You got the Bengals, you got the Ravens, you got the Packers, you got the Lions, and then you got the Vikings. Then after that, you have the Steelers, Dolphins, Patriots. And the Vikings game is what, in London?
Yes. Yep.
So that's a weird-ass game to begin with anyway. So that game, anything could happen that game.
Then you got to come back going to Pittsburgh, which is, we haven't won for. That's a tough place to put a rookie into. So you almost have to roll with Flacco for that.
Yeah, I think if anything, Brian, they'll replace him after the Patriots game during the bye week and bring in the rookies against the Jets.
Yeah.
And that would be my guess, but it all depends on how the season's going. If we're still treading water and we're still head above water and we're actually contending, then I don't see the rookies getting in until we're pretty much playoff ineligible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think with what Redleg said about Flacco starting the whole year, I think if you're a Browns fan and you are solely focused on this season, that's what you want. But for me, I feel like you're doing the rookies a disservice if you don't play him this year. Because if you don't play him at all this year, you're going to draft a quarterback in round 1 next year, which most people are fine with. But the way I see it, if you don't at least give them a chance this year to show you what they have, you just completely wasted a 3rd round pick and a 5th round pick. And more than a 5th round pick, because we had to give
done
up.
That before.
We have, but not this. I mean, I guess we have, but we haven't just completely admitted that. Now we're getting into, was it a dumb pick to draft a backup quarterback with your 3rd round pick when you don't have a whole lot of talent on your team? If that's what they view Dylan Gabriel as, which I kind of agree with, I think they view him as a Case Keenum, a backup that could maybe someday down the road be a starter for an okay team and just manage the game. But it frustrates me.
History of putting people in too early. And I know,
but I'm telling you, if they don't play Sanders or Gabriel at least 3 games and see what they have, it's a sure thing 100% you are drafting a quarterback in the 1st round next year. And if you do that, that's your franchise quarterback. These guys will never get a chance with this franchise. And it's just a waste.
Maybe we'll have 4 quarterbacks get in the quarterback room and it'll be a competition like it was this year.
Not with a 1st round quarterback. If you draft a quarterback in the 1st round, that's your guy. You saw it with I brought it up before. You saw it with the Chargers. They drafted Phillip Rivers. They had Drew Brees on their team. They drafted Phillip Rivers with the 4th pick. Well, actually, got traded to him, but whatever. He was a top 10 pick. That's your guy. I don't care who else is in that quarterback room. You draft a guy in the top 10, that's your guy. You're linked to him for at least 2 years, probably 3 years.
And he goes, Redleg said he does agree. No, we may see him because carrying 3 on the roster seems to lean that way. Yeah, we're going to see him at some point. So somebody's going to get injured. That's the way it always works in the NFL. Somebody's going to, there's going to be a sprained ankle. There's going to be a thumb, something like that. We're going to see him at some point in time this year. And that's also because Daddy Haslam said so. Daddy Haslam said he wants to see him too. And I have a feeling we are going to see him, Bri, but it's, it depends on how this season goes. Because at that point in time, if you're a playoff contender, do you really want to give it over to the rookies just to see what they are, or do you want to make the playoffs?
No, yeah. As long as you're in the hunt, unless you're like 5-8 in the hunt, as long as you're like around 500, I feel like you kind of owe it to the veterans to keep Flacco in there. Because, like I said, it's gonna. You have Myles Garrett who came back to the Browns, even though we don't really know his true motives why he came back to the Browns.
Money.
I think it's because the Browns showed him, hey, with the cap hit that we would take from trading you, we cannot do it to stay under the salary cap. I think they showed him that, and they said it's not possible. So you either have a chance to sign a deal with us and get paid a ton more money, or you just take whatever we're giving you and you just stay here and then wait for free agency when you come available. But Joel Bitonio, I thought he was retiring after last year. I thought he was done with this. He comes back for another year. I think it's just a bad look if you are starting Dylan Gabriel in week 3 or something like that, and you tell Joel Bitonio, we're all about the future here. I feel like they will do right by the veterans. But once you're out of the mix, then I think you make the move.
Oh yeah, you have to at that point in time, because you already know what you have in Joe Flacco with the 4-year-old. You need to figure out what you need in the rookie. And then Redleg, God, don't do this to me, Redleg. He said if Flacco goes down, do the Browns play a quarterback carousel, switching Gabriel and Sanders on the drives? Jesus God.
Well, I wasn't.
Don't you start that, Brian?
No. I wasn't that back and forth with it. But I thought, honestly, and they would never do this, but I thought it'd be a good idea to have them start every other game. So you have 2 weeks to prepare for a game. So you have Gabriel start 1 week, you have Shador start the other. And I understand the players would be frustrated with it because you need rhythm with a certain quarterback. But I thought, well, what the heck? They clearly don't view Gabriel and Sanders as equals. They view Gabriel up here and Sanders down here. And so that's what has so many people, so many fans frustrated.
No, I can't wait till we clip this and they call you a bigot and
sure.
Nazi and everything else.
For sure. Just remember my support for Deshaun Watson. I was probably the only guy in the city.
Yeah, you probably still are the only one in the city. All right, Brian. Damn it, we're going to have to. This is twice.
That's fine. Let's just. Here's what we'll do. We'll just copy and paste Fat Boy Tuesday and the top 3, and we'll just do it next week because I got to go at 8. I got a fantasy football draft, so I got to go at 8. So let's just finish up with the football talk. If you want to do trivia, let's do trivia right now, and then we can finish with maybe some bets that you like.
All right. So trivia brought to you by City Dogs Cleveland. Bri, I told you 30 years ago on this date, something historical happened here in Cleveland, and it was not sports related. Have you figured out what it was?
You said something opened, and I feel like I heard it, and that's why I was racking my brain for something, and I just couldn't come up with what I heard. So I'm going to say Blossom opened 30 years ago.
You're close. It's musical.
Nautica?
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame opened today in 1995. They're doing their 30-year anniversary right now. So please go check out one of the great gyms here in Cleveland is Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, along with the Great Lakes Science Center down there on the lakefront. So go check them out. But yeah, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame opened 30 years to the date today.
Cool. Wow. Yeah, 95 was a big year. Other than the Browns moving, a lot of good things happening in Cleveland. The Indians going to the World Series.
Oh, good God. All right, let's talk some bets, buddy, because I'm all excited about the bets. All right, so let's see here. Any surprise non-favorite division winners or wild card teams? All right, so first off, Bri, right now, the team that intrigues the shit out of me, but they pushed for the Super Bowl, Green Bay Packers. Get Micah Parsons. Yeah. They're setting up their team now. Bri, that might be a formidable team there in the NFC North. And dare I say, Super Bowl contender?
Oh, absolutely. I think after the Parsons trade, they're kind of the hot team. They're the team that I heard somebody today pick Jordan Love for MVP. So it kind of goes back to last week with my quarterback rankings. Like I feel like everyone's just waiting for Jordan Love to take that next step to be an elite quarterback. I just haven't seen it yet. So until he does, I'm not buying into the Packers. Not to mention they're playing in such a difficult division. I still think the Lions are the class of that division, and we'll see what happens with Minnesota and McCarthy. But yeah, I think the team that I like, and I don't know, they might be the favorites. I don't want to. The Niners, I feel like they have a bounce back year. I feel like maybe they're not the favorites because the Rams went to the NFC Championship? They went far in the playoffs. They probably gave Philadelphia their best game in the playoffs last year. So everyone's jumping on that bandwagon, thinking that they're fine. But I think the Niners have a bounce back.
All right, Bri, who is your pick for MVP and Defensive Player of the Year?
Well, MVP, just feel like the voters get voter fatigue. Like looking at Lamar last year, I feel like he was the best guy, but they just didn't want to give it to him again. So I feel like they find somebody new this year and they give it to Joe Burrow.
I agree with you on that one. I think this is Joey B's MVP year. I really do.
Yep. Sure.
All right. Defensive Player of the Year.
It's hard not to go with Myles Garrett. I don't think they have voter fatigue with Myles Garrett because he's only won it one time. I think had he won it last year, I wouldn't pick him to win it again, but he's just so dominant. And it's kind of like everyone has finally come to the consensus that Myles Garrett is the best defensive player, the best defensive end in the game. And kind of reminds me, unfortunately, of a couple seasons ago when everybody was finally giving Nick Chubb his due and his prop, saying he was the best running back in the game, saying McCaffrey does some things, more versatile things, but Nick Chubb is your best running back. Unfortunately, he went down with his knee injury a game and a half into that season. But I feel like finally he's getting his due. As long as the Browns can win more than 3 games, if they can win 5, probably 6 or 7 to really, because somehow that accounts into the voting and all that. But yeah, I'd put money on Miles for sure.
All right, Brian, last but not least, before we get out of here.
Who's your defensive player?
Oh, Myles Garrett all day.
Okay.
There's nobody.
That's not a homer pick?
No, Brian, he is the best defensive player in the NFL right now. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If the refs would actually call the holding calls that they should call Myles Garrett, it would be just there's nobody. Even Joe Thomas, did you hear him talk about Myles Garrett and him talking about the offensive line camp that he kind of did for the rookies and things coming in? They asked, like, how would you stop Myles Garrett? He goes, I don't think there's any way to stop Myles Garrett, but if you're going to try, this is what I would try to do, but I don't even think I could stop Myles Garrett. That's how he is elite of elite right now. The freak strength plus speed, he's just a force of nature. And God, I'm so glad that they did right on that pick, because remember, we were trying to figure out if we wanted Myles Garrett or a quarterback with that number 1 pick.
And he's got Mason Graham next to him to help him out. So
that is true.
People say that a good defensive tackle is better than a good defensive end opposite him. So I got 2 minutes. What was your last question?
All right, last one. Favorite season long bet?
I'm having a hard time deciphering. It can't be Kansas City again in the AFC. So I'm having a hard time. I'm convinced of that. Having a hard time picking between Baltimore and Buffalo. I think I'm going to go Baltimore, unfortunately, as AFC champion.
All right. AFC champion. I am going the other way. I'm going to go Green Bay Packers to get to the Super Bowl.
NFC champ. Nice.
So NFC champ plus, Bri, not going to lie, I'm going to put a Happy Meal bet on your Cleveland Browns.
Oh, yeah. Over 5.5?
No.
To make the Super Bowl. Well, I don't know.
Plus
right.
40,000, Bri.
Plus 40,000 to make the Super Bowl?
Yes.
It's a good bet. Maybe if Deshaun Watson comes back from his injury and leads you to the promised land. What a fairy tale story.
Still trying to figure out how
Joking.
Pittsburgh Steelers are plus 3,600.
On that note, God bless you. God bless America.
You don't even want to answer that one?
No, they're terrible. Screw the Steelers.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Have a great night.
See ya.